I'm Brad. This is Erik. We are certified Steak Cook-Off Association judges. We're going to be judging some steaks today. And first thing I'm going to do is they're going to present us the steaks. And we're going to look at them. Before it would get to us, we would get the turn-in boxes. Somebody would have cut the steaks in half. You're going to have half of the steak for us to view when we do go to the judging portion. And then you'll have the bottom half to eat from. The bottom half is going to be consisted of the spinalis, because you want that super tender bite the first time. But the first thing we do before we ever try the steak is the appearance. The doneness. Those are the two first things we look for. Would that be correct?
Yeah, you're looking at uniformity. You can see this has got really good uniformity in it. You're looking for things like right there. I noticed that fat is coming up a little bit, so that might be a little bit of an eyesore to some judges. You're looking at color, but really what you're looking at is what the meat looks like after the cut. And one thing to keep in mind also is that, say this is a turn-in box, when people turn in their box, they have to turn it in the way that they want it to be so that they know that it's going to be cut across right here. So the turn-in team will always ask, is this how you want it? Because no matter how it's turned or anything, judges and cutters are not going to turn your steak so that the spinalis is in the tasting. And you have to put it in the box so that spinalis towards the bottom will be offered to the judges.
Because each judge gets one bite, and one bite in. That's it. You don't get to go back for a second one. Whatever you're pulling off of that steak is what you're going to eat. So if somebody were to cut into the wrong part of the steak, we're all eating from that point. And it is, like you said, you want that spinalis on the bottom because, let's be honest, it is the best part of the steak. They even make sure to put the finishing dust on that side because at the end of the day, when judging, it is about one bite and one bite alone.
Yep.
Normally this would be in a box and we wouldn't be transferring it. But today this is what we're going to be going with just to be able to show you guys. And as you're going to see, we're going to look at this part of the meat for judging, and then we're going to taste this part of the meat. Now if I get a fatty piece like we pointed out earlier, that's not necessarily their fault. I'm not going to ding them because steaks have fat. At the end of the day, the first thing we're going to do once we see our appearance is we're going to look. Normally we have one of the cards that will show exactly what you're going for. There's no middle ground to worry about. You can look at a picture, go, this is a 10, a 9, an 8, and go right from there. Like this one, to me, it is a little rare on the side, but I'm probably going to get a 9 from me. Yeah. Go ahead. No, please go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, so we would be looking at really from this
side.
Yeah. So our view is right here, and you can see right there that you've got a uniform thing going through there. It looks pretty good. We don't judge on the side that we're looking at or that we're eating, but there you can see that that's not anywhere near as presentable as the other side. So that's one thing not to worry about. You want everything to be beautiful up here.
Yeah, you probably should have brought the paper.
Same process. We're going to cut right in half. This will be the viewing side, and then that'll be the eating side. Same kind of thing. We're always going to look right at the doneness of it. That's going to be one of the exact thing. And here's the nice thing. Even if it's a little under, it's going to be a 9 most likely. I mean, it's going to have to be super raw. We're not a business of 7s. The one thing to remember about these steaks, these are all going to be amazing steaks and we're going to eat all of them. But as a judge, that is what we're looking. We have a very distinct things that we're looking for, whether it's the taste, the texture, the tenderness, the doneness. But those are always going to be the first two things, the appearance and then the doneness. And then after that, we're going to go in for the taste and the tenderness. If the doneness, yeah, I mean...
They're just underdone.
Yeah, they're underdone.
Underdone. If I'm looking at it, like I said, you've got the fat bubbling up over there. Over here, it's not so bad.
You can't.
No, I don't think on the fat you
can't judge that.
Yeah, because that's on the non-looking side.
Side. You're right. You're right.
You can't judge that.
That's correct. He is absolutely correct.
But if it was on the other one, I would.
Yep.
But overall steak and everything, like that one looks really, really good. I really like how uniform everything is. It's just a little bit underdone, and the grill marks are really, really good on that. Over here, grill marks are a little bit dark, a little bit underdone. Uniformity, it's just not as pretty. But really, that's like such a tiny, minuscule part of the overall score. most of the score is the doneness and what is it? Doneness,
Tenderness.
tenderness, and
And then
flavor.
there's the
Taste.
flavor,
Yeah.
the point. And that's the thing is, even though we can sit and talk about the differences between these two things, I think Eric and I could probably both agree they're going to get the same score as far as appearance, because even though this one might be a little different than that one, they're both to the point where if you're looking at your card, it's going to be an 8. And that's the one nice thing with the judge that they take out of our hands is we just look at the card. It's right there of what you're looking for. It's not my interpretation of what it is. It's not anything, it gets a little different when you come to the taste and the tenderness. That's more of that person, but when it comes to what it looks like, normally there's a thing right here. You're looking right at it, and that's what it is. So,
And looking at these side by side, you can really tell that the cook is, the doneness is pretty similar.
yep, they're pretty much the same at that point. And I would also say that because we're in such bright light, it's really shining through as well. But that's why we're doing this video, and that's what you're looking for. But from a starting standpoint, I would say these probably are starting at the exact same spot, score-wise, until we get into the flavor.
Yep.
All right, so...
This is a salt.
All right, you ready? All right, so... What it would be... Oh, go ahead. No, please do.
I was just going to say, so many times we have plastic utensils, and just keep in mind, if you're cooking a steak and you're testing at home, use plastic because you want the judges to be able to actually cut through it. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to cut through one biteable piece right here, and then it wants to go through, and then it goes to the next judge to do theirs.
And I'm going to have a separate fork because, cleanliness. And that's the thing. I, as a judge now, I get to decide where I'm going to cut off. I'm going to cut off of this steak, but where do I want to go? Maybe I want to go to this side. And that's part of the thing when you're having, multiple judges at his table. My portion might be a little bit different than what he got. His might be a little fattier on his end. That's why everything's a little bit different. But, we're all going to get a bite, and you come on over and get yours as well, my friend.
Another thing to keep in mind from a judge's standpoint, we try to keep cutting from the exact same portion. So if I'm cutting that end, and I'm usually we all sit in the same rotation on the table, so we try to keep the same thing going. If I'm cutting from this end all the time, I'm not going to go in the middle, I'm not going to go over here, we're just trying to keep things uniform.
Just so you know, these are no roll steaks. So the SCA, they require using a choice steak. I was being cheap today, so I bought everyone a no roll. So they're going to be a little tougher than usual. Not trying to make excuses, I'm just letting you know. My Jackson has to take a chainsaw to it.
So then once we're done with that, at that point, would everybody, I would actually take my bite. And before he would get his bite or he would get his, I would take my bite, close the box. I've got my scorecard. I'm now going to write tenderness, taste, and overall. One of the points is a 0.0 to 0.9. That one is really important because a lot of these competitions, that's how close it is. It can be within, 0.1 between multiple people. So every judge, once again, is going to be different. What kind of seasoning I like, how seasoned I like it, what, the texture of the piece that I got. So once I have done mine, then I would close the box, I'd pass the box on to the next person, and then they would go, and then I'm done with that steak. I'm completely done. We're doing it sort of different here just because we're out in the beautiful sun and everything. But so this one, if I was up next, I would get it. I would write down my appearance score, or write down the doneness. Then I'm going to go in with my new fork. He would actually be going first because he started it the last time. He would be the table captain, but then I would take it, take my bite, close the box, send it to the next person, write my score, put it in, and I'm out.